Hello friends. In this review, we will once again talk about the local smart home controller Sonoff iHost. This time we will focus not on the functionality of its stock firmware, but on how to turn the device into a full-fledged smart home server based on Home Assistant. We will install Home Assistant OS, take a detailed look at the hardware operation, deal with integrations, and also add some useful add-ons. Among them, special modules that allow you to control the buttons and lighting of the device itself. At the very beginning, I want to clarify an important point. This video is not a call to purchase the Sonoff iHost controller, because given its price, you can find more interesting offers on the market based on mini PCs with Intel processors. Rather, this is a demonstration of what can be done with this device if you already have it, and the capabilities of the stock firmware do not satisfy you, or for some reason you decided not to use it out of the box. We will talk about all this in more detail later. In the meantime, as usual, I ask you to like this video. It will help other people interested in the smart home topic to find it. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Remember that Sonoff iHost is a controller for managing a smart home, focused on working in local mode, with minimal access to the internet and the manufacturer's cloud services. The device has a built-in zigbee coordinator, allowing you to directly connect devices to it, as well as its own management system with a web interface. It makes it possible to both control devices and create simple automations. However, the controller also has a number of limitations, which I described in detail in previous reviews. You can find links to those videos in the description below this one. Therefore, one of the options for using this controller, suggested by the manufacturer itself and not by smart home enthusiasts, is to install a full-fledged management system on it, Home Assistant. For this, you will need a separate microSD card with a capacity of at least 32 gigabytes. Under this video, you will find all the necessary links. The first step is to download the operating system image from the GitHub project iHost Home Assistant. At the time of recording this video, the current version is 16.1. The image must be written to a microSD card. This can be done in different ways. In this video, I will show the process using the Raspberry Pi imager. We launch the current version of the imager and go to the first item, Choose Device. Here we select the No Filter option, which displays all available system images. We move on to the second item, choosing the operating system. Here we scroll to the end of the list and select Use Custom Image. This option will allow you to specify the previously downloaded operating system image from the GitHub project. In the next window, we find the previously downloaded system image and select it. Next, we go to the third item, where we specify the storage medium on which the selected image will be written. In my case, this is a 128 gigabyte microSD card, but as I mentioned earlier, it is quite enough to use a card starting from 32 gigabytes. Done. All three parameters are selected, and now you can start writing the image to the memory card. Before starting the recording, an additional window will appear with a suggestion to change the parameters of the selected operating system. Here you need to choose No. We confirm the action. All data on the microSD card will be deleted. Next, we just have to wait until the system image is fully deployed and written to the memory card. After the recording is completed, a data verification will be performed automatically. All preliminary steps are completed. The system is deployed and prepared for launch. Now the memory card can be removed from the card reader and installed in the Sonoff iHost slot. At this point, the iHost itself must be completely disconnected from power. According to the manufacturer's recommendation, after powering on the Sonoff iHost, you need to press the mute button several times. It is marked with an arrow on the slide, until the LED strip on the front panel lights up blue. We power it on. Press the mute button several times. The indicator lights up blue. Now we just need to wait. In exactly the same way, you can return to the base firmware. Only in this case, the LED indicator will light up red. After a few minutes, you can check the operation of the web interface. To do this, in the browser we go to the address of the Sonoff iHost, adding port 8123 to it, as shown on this slide. If everything is done correctly, the Home Assistant startup preparation window will appear on the screen. This process takes quite a long time. As stated in the message, it may last about 20 minutes. After the preparation is complete, a window will appear with a choice of 3 options. The first, creating a smart home from scratch, which we will choose. The second, restoring from a backup saved locally. The third, restoring from a backup located in the Home Assistant cloud. Next, the initial system setup wizard starts. At the first stage, you need to specify a username, login, and also enter and confirm a password. This account will be administrative. If necessary, additional user accounts can be created later. The screen with the location by default is set to Amsterdam. Here you can select your address right away or postpone this step and set it later in the system settings. The next step is to specify the country of residence. At the next stage, the system will offer to consent to the collection of analytical data. By default, all 4 options are disabled. I usually enable them and recommend you do the same. Data collection is carried out anonymously and helps developers analyze user experience, identify their needs, and determine system development priorities. And finally, a final window appears showing the devices detected by the system. More precisely, integrations capable of working with these devices. For each user, this window will look different depending on which devices are already present in the network. In my case, it looks like this. After this, the Home Assistant interface starts. Several media players were automatically detected through the Google Cast integration, and on the right side of the screen, one of the temperature and humidity sensors was also displayed, which the system detected and added automatically. An important point concerns the hardware architecture of the Sonoff iHost. Let me remind you, the device is built on a 32-bit processor. Starting in 2026, Home Assistant developers will officially end support for 32-bit platforms. This does not mean that the system will stop working for you. It just will no longer receive updates and will remain in the state it is in at the end of December 2025. It is possible that the manufacturer of Sonoff iHost will continue to release additional updates for its platform. There are reasons for this, and I will talk about them a little later. But this is definitely something to keep in mind. For now, I simply clicked the Ignore button in this message so that it would not interfere, and we will move on to exploring the hardware capabilities of the device and the integrations for working with them. At the time of testing, the following current versions were installed on the Sonoff iHost: Core, August 3rd, 2025, Supervisor, August 1st, 2025, and Home Assistant OS 16.1. We go to the Settings menu and select the System tab. In this menu, we open the last tab, Hardware. At the moment, no add-ons are installed here, and only those integrations that were added automatically when devices were detected on the network are present. CPU load does not exceed 10%, and RAM usage is about a quarter. One of the integrations is called Bluetooth. It appeared automatically because the system detected a built-in Bluetooth adapter. By going into this integration, you can see additional information: manufacturer name, port number, and MAC address. This integration, in turn, ensures the operation of other modules that interact with specific devices. For example, the Xiaomi BLE integration added several Bluetooth devices from the Xiaomi ecosystem to the system, such as smart scales and one of the temperature and humidity sensors. In addition, here there is an option to add 2 more devices: a controllable alarm clock and a night light. This is what the Device tab looks like. It displays temperature, relative humidity, battery charge level, and battery voltage. The Ethernet adapter for wired LAN connection was also correctly detected. However, if it were not in use, I simply would not have been able to access this interface. Currently, the adapter is operating in automatic mode and receives an IP address from the router. If desired, it can be switched to static mode and the address specified manually. The Wi-Fi adapter is also working fine. I enabled network scanning, and it displayed available access points within range, but only those operating at 2.4 GHz. As I usually note, for a smart home server, whenever possible it is better to use a wired connection. It is more reliable and stable. The next device we will check is the Zigbee coordinator. Let me remind you, it is based on the Silicon Labs EFR32MG21 chip. To test it, We go to the Integrations menu and click Add Integration. In the search, we enter the name, ZHA. In my case, in the Add menu there was an extra item offering to connect to one of the network coordinators. However, we are interested in the Add Zigbee device option. A menu appears to select the serial port for the device. According to the manufacturer's description, you need to choose the port whose number ends with the digit 4. Since this will be a new network, in the next menu we select the option Erase Network Settings and create a new network. Done. The system detected and added a new Zigbee coordinator based on EasySB. Currently, one device has been added to the ZHA integration, the EasySB Zigbee coordinator. On this page, device information is available, and there is also an option to connect new devices through this coordinator. Let's check how it works. Everything works correctly. I sequentially connected 3 different Zigbee devices, a water leak sensor, a temperature and humidity sensor, and a wireless button. The leak sensor was identified in the system as a binary sensor with statuses on and off. In this case, it corresponds to the state no leak. If desired, its type can be changed to a leak sensor through the General Settings menu. However, we are now more interested in the actual operation of the device. I placed the leak sensor's contacts in water, and it immediately reacted, changing its status to on, meaning a leak was detected. Everything works correctly and, as a reminder, completely without any connection to the internet or cloud services. And this is the page for the temperature and humidity sensor. Everything is displayed correctly. Relative humidity, 63%, temperature, 25.6 degrees Celsius, and battery charge level, 50%. The button page, here 2 objects are displayed. The first, firmware version, the second, battery charge level. When pressed, the button generates events that are displayed in the right column. The event type depends on whether the press was single, double, or held. Let's move on to add-ons. Unlike integrations, which are part of the Home Assistant core, add-ons are separate modules that need to be installed. Each add-on has its own settings and configuration. In some cases, they run alongside Home Assistant, without directly interacting with it. The system has just been installed, so there are no add-ons yet. In the lower right corner, there is a button that you can press to go to the store with modules available for installation. Here the consequences of the chosen platform and its architecture become immediately apparent. Many add-ons, including quite popular ones such as Matter Server, are unavailable for installation. This is due specifically to the limitations of the device's hardware, and there are indeed quite a few such add-ons. However, for the most in-demand of them, the manufacturer has provided a workaround for installation. And now I will tell you how it works. On the already mentioned GitHub project, there is a section called Hasio iHost add-on. You can find a link to it in the description below this video. We copy the link to this section and return to the Add-on Store tab. In the upper right corner, we click the button with 3 vertical dots and select Repositories. We insert the path to the add-on repository for iHost and click the Add button. Done. A new repository appeared in the list of available add-ons called iHost Open Source Project. We refresh the browser page with the Add-on Store open, and here a new section appears. At the time of testing, 9 repositories were available in it, most of which are precisely those unavailable in the standard store. I will not go into detail about all these add-ons, since the process of working with them is no different from those available in the standard store. We will stop only at the most interesting ones. And we will start with the add-on that allows you to manage the hardware part of the Sonoff iHost. An important point, for this add-on to work, the Mosquito Broker, an MQTT server, must be installed. It is available in the standard add-on store. It is enough to just install it. You don't even need to make any additional settings. After this, we install and run this add-on as well. Again, no additional settings are required. The add-on will automatically find the installed Mosquito Broker and connect to it. In the Integrations menu, another one will appear, MQTT. It automatically detects the installed Mosquito Broker add-on. We confirm the connection specifically to the MQTT Broker add-on, since this integration can also work with external brokers. Since we have already installed the add-on for working with the hardware resources of the Sonoff iHost, it added several devices to the Mosquito Broker, and they appeared in the MQTT integration. There are 3 in total. Let's take a closer look at each of them, what exactly they contain, and what features they provide. This one, apparently, is a technical entry. It has no objects that can be used in the interface or in automations. This device provides the ability to work with the hardware buttons of the Sonoff iHost. There are 5 in total, 4 located on the top of the case, and 1, reset, on the back, pressed with a paperclip. Each of these buttons sends only one event, a single press. Double, triple clicks, or holding are not supported. Thus, the buttons on the Sonoff iHost case can be used to trigger automations. The iHost indicator control device includes 5 elements. 4 of them are LEDs built into the buttons on the top of the case. The 5th is the LED strip located on the front panel of the case. For the button indicators, 4 operating modes are available: always on, always off, fast blinking, and double blinking. The indicators themselves are rather small and dim, so in my opinion, their only practical use is to confirm button presses when you are near the Sonoff iHost and can notice the LED blinking. But for the light strip on the front panel of the case, more modes are available. In addition to the standard on and off, there is a mode of constant illumination in one of 6 colors. Also, for each of the available colors, there are fast and double blinking modes. In addition, there is a breathing mode. And for the red color, there is also a shimmering mode. It is the very last one in the list. By the way, immediately after installing Home Assistant, the front LED strip automatically switches to breathing light mode with blue color. Let's look at another add-on from the installed set. It is intended for updating the firmware of the built-in Zigbee coordinator. We install this add-on and immediately start it. No additional settings are required here either. After launch, we press the Open Web Interface button and go to it. If the window does not open the first time, that's okay. It's normal. Wait a minute and try again. This is what the web interface of the Sonoff Zigbee Coordinator Firmware Update add-on looks like. By the way, it is suitable both for models based on Texas Instruments chips and for models based on Silicon Labs. We select the port whose number ends with the digit 4 and click the Confirm button. Here the currently installed firmware version is displayed, 6.10.9. If you want to return to the original Sonoff iHost firmware, you will need to install exactly this version. And the current firmware version for this type of module today is 8.0.2. Here all available firmware versions are displayed. In addition to the latest one, several intermediate versions are also available if you need to install a specific version. There are also firmwares for working with Thread, the multi-pan option that allows you to use both Zigbee and Thread simultaneously, and a customized version with which you can install your own firmware. I choose the latest available version for Zigbee, confirm the choice, and start the flashing process. Now we just need to wait until the flashing process is completed. The progress indicator is displayed in the same window on the 3rd step. Done. The flashing is complete. Let's just make sure the firmware was installed successfully. I run this add-on again, and now on the very first step it shows that the installed firmware version matches the current one. After the flashing is complete, you can stop the add-on and disable the toggle switch responsible for its auto-start at system boot. There is no need to remove it entirely. From time to time you can run it manually to check the current firmware version and, if necessary, update the coordinator. The next nuance. After the firmware update, the previously installed ZHA integration moves to the disabled section. It is located in the upper right corner of the Integrations menu. We click the Show button. During the coordinator firmware update, the integration that was working with it was automatically disabled. By the way, if you use Zigbee 2 MQTT, you must stop it before flashing. Now we click the Enable button. After enabling, the integration begins to initialize. This process can take from 1 to several minutes. After this, its work is fully restored. The sensors start transmitting data again, and the button sends events when pressed. Now let's move on to another add-on, the last one for today. For this, I disable all connected Zigbee sensors and remove the integration itself. As you may have already guessed, this add-on is Zigbee 2 MQTT. To install it, you also need to add the path to the corresponding repository on the add-on store page. More details about Zigbee 2 MQTT and its configuration I described in a separate video. You can find the link in the description below this video. Here I will only show the most basic points. We already have Mosquito Broker installed, so we can immediately proceed with installing Zigbee 2 MQTT. After the add-on is downloaded and deployed in the system, it can be started right away. After some time, a button to go to the web interface will appear. We click on it. The initial system setup wizard will open. Here you need to specify several parameters, which I will now describe in more detail. In the drop-down menu of detected devices, select the port whose number ends with the digit 4. This same port will automatically be inserted into the next line of its address. The coordinator type is specified manually, Ember. The default speed is set to 115,200. The hardware flow checkbox is left unchanged. Other parameters can also be left untouched. However, if you already have a Zigbee network deployed on channel 11, you can manually specify another, for example, channel 15 or 20. These parameters can also be left unchanged. The MQTT topic can be left as default. The address and credentials for connecting to the Mosquito Broker are filled in automatically. At the end of the list, click the Submit button. Done. The settings are applied, and Zigbee 2 MQTT starts. You need to wait 1 to 2 minutes. To monitor the operation of the add-on, you can return to its page and open the last tab, Log. If everything is done correctly, a message will soon appear. Zigbee 2 MQTT started. On the first tab of the add-on, make sure all 3 toggles are enabled. Start on boot, Watchdog, and Show on the sidebar. We go to the web interface. Everything starts correctly, but so far there are no connected devices here. We go to the About tab. Here it shows the type of coordinator, EmberZNET, as well as the firmware version 8.0.2, the same one we recently installed. I checked the operation on the same devices that were previously connected via ZHA, the button, the leak sensor, and the temperature and humidity sensor. All of them connected and were identified completely correctly. The system works. These devices were added to the MQTT integration, where they are displayed together with the previously discussed objects for controlling the hardware part of the Sonoff iHost. And here is the assessment of resource usage at the end of the testing. The processor is loaded on average by less than 5%, with rare peaks up to 10 to 12%. RAM usage is about 1/3. Once again, I want to emphasize an important point. This video is not a call to purchase Sonoff iHost for use as a smart home server. For the same price, you can purchase a full-fledged platform based on Intel, and you will even have a budget left for buying a Zigbee coordinator. In addition, we have already confirmed that the 32-bit architecture will lose official support from the Home Assistant developers at the end of 2025. This lesson will be useful for those who already have the device and could not find a use for it with the stock firmware. Thus, you will be able to, without additional costs, turn it into a full-fledged smart home server as of today, which can work both with various integrations and with Zigbee devices connected directly, or use it as a test platform for developing new logic. That's all for now. I hope this video was useful and interesting for you. I would be grateful for your likes. They help the promotion of the video on YouTube. If you don't want to miss new reviews and tutorials, subscribe to my channel. I remind you that in the description below the video you will find all the necessary links to stores where you can purchase this device, as well as to my social networks, Telegram channels, and groups for communication on smart home topics. Join us. It will be interesting. Thank you for your attention. See you next time. Peace to everyone.